Okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right. So, heart's got three major arteries: widowmaker, circumflex, right coronary. He has a fourth vessel called the ramus that comes normally off the circumflex. It's split between blood vessel 1 and blood vessel 2. Blood vessel 1's got a prior stent in there, has 50 to 60% blockage within the stent. Before the stent, the widowmaker's got a 99% blockage, diffusely diseased. Okay? Blood vessel number 2, the left circumflex, has got 80% blockages diffusely to the beginning of the blood vessel. That can be covered with 1, maybe 2 stents. The ramus intermedius is the third blood vessel. It's got two 90% blockages in series, and it's a fairly large blood vessel, so that would have to be worked on as well. Finally, the right coronary's got diffuse blockages, anywhere from probably about 70 to 80% block. Okay. Normally in this situation, when you have all major arteries blocked at the very beginning of all the blood vessels, anything greater than 70%, and so we know steroids anywhere from 70 to 99%, it's typically recommended for bypass surgery. If you got open heart or bypass surgery, they would put brand new blood vessels around all these blockages. He would get a total of 4 bypasses. Okay? Given the fact that he doesn't walk, can't rehabilitate, we anticipate that the surgeons will turn him down for surgery.
I have been 3 times, 3 different specs.
Exactly, right? Because he can't use his arms after surgical revascularization to lift and push himself up. So the next best option would be to open up all the blockages with stents. He would end up getting a stent here, 1, a second stent inside of the old stent after we laser it and burn all the crud out of it, 2, maybe a third stent beyond the original stent because he's got some plaque downstream, 3. This one you can cover probably with 2 stents, 4 and 5. Stent number 6, hopefully 1 stent, and then stent number 7 over here. So a lot of stents, right? The stents are a surrogate for the bypasses. They aren't as good because they have the potential to re-occlude like they have before, right? And so that's where we stand. You know, in the future, if they re-occlude, we'll have to reopen them time and time and again. He'll end up having more heart caths here on out, especially if he can't ever undergo surgery. Right? So this is what we can offer, at least to reduce his chest discomfort, reduce any damage to the heart muscle, get the heart pumping back to full capacity now that it has normal blood flow, and then hopefully prevent all that fluid going up into his lungs. Right? This will also help the heart squeeze more blood to his legs, because the same phenomenon is happening in the blood vessels to his legs. They're all diffuse to disease and blocked, and that allows tissue to die downstream. So that will be the plan for him early next week in order to get all those things done. You gotta watch his blood counts. They drop intermittently, but that's just from all the surgical wound loss. And so we're transfusing him blood as need be to keep his counts stable, not dropping too much, so that we don't have to stop the blood thinners that we have on board to keep flow to his leg, so he doesn't have to undergo any further amputations. Okay.
And in terms of the quote-unquote high-risk stent surgery, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the widowmaker's 99% blocked. That's not good. Where is the majority of the risk? On the table or post-surgery maintaining?
All the risk is now, right? The blockages are there, right? And so that doesn't change whether we do it on the table. The risk even occurs post. Hopefully the risk will be less because we've had those arteries now open in order to help restore blood flow, right? Because his heart function is so weak, we will also put a pump in his groin or in his leg all the way up into the heart muscle. Let's call it an impella. You'll read about it. Impella is basically a mechanical pump that's temporarily placed in case that when we work on these blood vessels, if they should shut down, heart continues to beat, blood pressure continues to be normal, and blood perfuses to all areas until all this stuff is cleaned up and sent in. Once that all the areas are fixed, then we take the pump out at the end of the case. Right?
You don't leave the pump in?
No, we won't leave the pump in. Unless he goes into shock or he goes into acute heart failure, right? And his blood pressures can't be maintained, then we will leave the pump in.
Well, I didn't know if it was a mechanism there could be like that. I didn't know. Okay.
If something goes wrong, the pump is an insurance policy, and the pump can be left in longer than what we're using it for, which is during the time of the stents being placed. He's not in shock now. He doesn't need a pump right now. But when we go in here and start mucking around, if you only have 1% channel, just putting a wire will shut down the blood vessel, right? Then we got a balloon and stent and put everything there. That will temporarily shut blood supply to the largest artery. That way we'll have the backup pump doing all the work for him. Same thing would occur if he had open heart surgery. They would put him on a cardiopulmonary bypass machine, hook him to a pump. They stop all blood flow to all blood vessels. They keep the blood running while you're asleep, and they fillet all the vessels open and tie in new blood vessels. So it's the same kind of way of doing it, but a minimally invasive way of doing it. Okay?
Well, like my T-shirt said, if God gives us what He thinks we can handle, He must think I'm a badass, because this is pretty serious.
Yep. Okay.